Hello, and thank you for volunteering to be a session host at NIRSA's 2018 annual conference. We're excited to see you in Denver in just a few weeks now. My name is Kristen Gleason, and I'm NIRSA's Professional Development Director. So the role of a session host, once again, thank you for volunteering. Your basic responsibilities include welcoming conference presenters and attendees, assisting presenters during the session, taking a record of the number of attendees at your session, and encourage attendees to submit feedback. And I'll go over some general volunteer information today, as well as touch on some specifics about those tasks for session hosts today. So before arriving, you want to get app savvy. A few days prior to getting on site at Denver, please be sure you download the event app. This will be the most updated source of information about sessions, session locations, and presenter information. Although we don't anticipate session locations being changed at this time, if they are for whatever reason, if we need to change a session location, the app is where that change will be reflected. So we ask all of our conference volunteers to take some time prior to conference to get familiar with the app so you can help your colleagues on site who may need assistance. A couple of pointers, a couple of things that people get tripped up on about the app is the most important thing is the user has to have Guidebook app loaded on their computer, or sorry, on their phone before they utilize it. So a person can't access NIRSA's event app if the Guidebook app isn't downloaded onto their phone. A lot of people forget this step. So if you encounter a colleague having some issues there, make sure they have that app downloaded on their phone and then search for the NIRSA 2018 event app. Also, when you get to Denver and you get settled in and you get to the registration desk and get your badge and you're all set to go for conference, we do encourage all conference volunteers to take some time to walk around the site. As a session host, you'll want to poke your head into some of the session rooms and get familiar with where the education sessions will be taking place. And remember, you'll be wearing a fancy volunteer ribbon. So although your official role at conference is a session host, wearing that fancy ribbon may get you some other questions as well, such as where is the bathroom? Where is the opening speaker? How do I get to the expo? So it's helpful to be familiar with the site and where things are at, and exploring the app is a good place to start. And that will have a lot of your basic information about the event on the app. But please do, when you get on site, take a walk around and familiarize yourself with the basic sites like the bathrooms and the general session rooms and the ed session rooms, so you can generally point people in the right direction. This is the D lobby, and it will be the NIRSA hub at Denver at the Convention Center. Lobby D is the central hub of registration and information. Session hosts should pick up their attendance card at the NIRSA education table. You'll use that card to write down session attendance and return it to a volunteer at the table after your session. Taking attendance at your session is really helpful for us in evaluating this event, as it helps us plan for future events. So please take attendance, and thank you in advance for remembering to do so. So once you pick up that card, you'll want to report to your session room at least 15 minutes prior to the session starting. You'll want to review the session on Guidebook so you're familiar with the content of the session as well. When you get to the session room, be sure to greet the presenter. You want to introduce yourself and offer them assistance with anything they may need during their session. They may need help passing out handouts, or they may need help keeping time. Just let them know you're available to introduce the session and them. Be sure you know how to pronounce their name. And many presenters will ask you to give them a wave or a signal when there's 5 to 10 minutes left in the session so that they know it's time to wrap up. Some may ask you to not do any of that. They may be all set. So just chat with the presenter before the session about how you can support them during the session so you're all on the same page about that. So be sure to greet attendees as they come in the room. You're the host. Try to greet attendees, say hello, be on the lookout for people who may have accessibility needs or who may need assistance finding a seat. You want to introduce the session. So when you do so, you say 2 or 3 things about yourself. You help set the tone, so be enthusiastic about that. Please announce the session title. You may have people who are in the wrong room that may not be the session they want to be at. So announcing the session title is a good cue for people to make sure that they are where they want to be, or allow them some time to get out of the room and to the session that they want to be at. You'll also want to review a couple of housekeeping items, such as reminding attendees to silence their cell phones, and also reminding attendees to complete a session feedback form on Guidebook at the end of the session. From there, you'll want to introduce the session and the presenters and clap when you're finished. That's always a nice touch. During the session, we suggest that you try to sit up front so that you're available to the presenter if they need any assistance, and just try to limit your cell phone use so that you're using it just to engage in the presentation, such as engaging in tweeting or poll participation, that kind of stuff, and try to focus on the presenter. After the session, you'll want to thank the presenter and remind attendees to submit a session feedback form on Guidebook. It's also a good idea to hang around the room for just a few minutes to be available in the event that attendees need assistance with the feedback form. Be sure to record the number of attendees on your session card and return the card to the education table. If you misplace your card or forget to pick it up, it's not a huge issue, but we do ask that you still take that head count and report it to the volunteer at the education table at the end of your session. So this is the end of your official volunteer duty. You're able to go and enjoy conference now. I'm going to touch on a couple of troubleshooting issues that you may encounter so you can provide assistance to your presenter and your attendees. First of all, the session feedback forms. Again, the key to being a superstar volunteer is being friendly and familiar with the event app. Attendees will be able to access the session feedback form on the app. So you see on the screen here, there'll be a session title. You'll want to click on that, and that will take you to the session details. And you'll want to scroll down just a little bit to access that session feedback form. NIRSA 2018 will be offering credential holders the opportunity to earn continuing education credits. As always, most sessions will offer NIRSA registry members the opportunity to earn NIRSA CEUs. Additionally, there will be about 20 sessions that will offer continuing education credits for fitness-related credentials. All the sessions with CEU values are marked as such in the app. So if you're working a session that doesn't have any CEUs tagged to it, it means there aren't any. The feedback form contains 9 questions. 6 of those are quick questions about the session. The remaining 3 questions only have to be completed by attendees looking to earn continuing education credits for these credentials. So this is a sample of one of those questions, and I don't anticipate you'll get too many questions, but just in case you do, this is what it looks like. And on those questions, it will preface with the fact that only credential holders have to fill out those questions at the bottom. So this is just an FYI for you, just so you are aware. Session rooms will have a projector and a screen. Presenters are informed that they must provide their own laptops, adapters, and their own slide clicker if they like to use one of those. Wi-Fi information will be available by going to the resources area of the app and clicking on the Wi-Fi information. Session hosts aren't expected to be AV technicians, but there are a few tips to encourage your presenter to try if they are experiencing some issues. These are probably the top ones that we encounter at our events. So if there's no projection on the screen, just encourage the presenter to make sure all cables are securely connected to the appropriate port. If you're not getting the correct projection, again, encourage the presenter to check their display mode. Usually laptops will have multiple display modes, and usually the issue is just that the presenter doesn't have his laptop on the correct display to project to the screen. And then if the presenter can't access Wi-Fi, just encourage them to, again, check their setting and make sure they're logged into the NIRSA conference Wi-Fi. We will have AV technicians on site to help you with anything that you can't handle. So if you need a AV technician sent to your room, please report that issue to the NIRSA education table in the D lobby, and a technician will be called on the radio to go to your room. You'll just need to know, let us know what room you're in so we can direct that technician accordingly. A couple other troubleshooting issues. Again, this is very rare, but in the event that you have a presenter no-show, please report that to the NIRSA education table. The session host in that predicament should invite attendees to decide what they want to do. They are welcome to stay and wait a few minutes to see if the presenter arrives, or invite the attendees to attend another session so they don't miss content that is taking place during that education block. Again, this is a rare occurrence, but it happens occasionally. Your role there is just to invite attendees to make a choice whether they want to stay and see if the presenter shows up or go. And again, once you report that issue to the NIRSA education table, we'll do everything possible to track down our presenter and keep you informed as far as the whereabouts, but just invite attendees to stay or go. And again, this is a rare occurrence, but once in a while it does happen. If you can't make it, things happen, we understand that. So if you signed up to be a session host but can't make your session due to unforeseen circumstances, you can go to that Google sign up form and remove your name. If you have a colleague who you can sub in for you, that would be really appreciated. But you can also email the program committee to notify them of your cancellation. When we're on site at the event, again, just please notify the program committee. They'll be at the education table in D lobby on site. So just let them know you've run into some issues and can't attend your session. So we know that we'll try to get somebody in there to cover for you. So this is a lot of information, and that's about all I have for you, but I do hope it was helpful and provided you with information that helps you be both an informed attendee and a confident session host. Basically, you want to arrive in your room 15 minutes prior to start time, greet the presenter, be sure to greet attendees, remind attendees to complete a session feedback form, and also, I don't have it listed here, but report out that attendance back to the NIRSA education table. And we really appreciate you taking the time to volunteer at the event. We couldn't pull this event off without you, and we do hope that you have fun in your role as a session host at the NIRSA 2018 annual conference. See you soon.